We know crime and kids do not go hand in hand. That doesn't mean the world is devoid of them. Even if you must be thinking little kids to be all pure and innocent, they still have the potential of enacting heinous crimes. The kids on this list have done a few extremely horrific things, which were enough to land themselves in imprisonment for life situations. No matter how much we hate to accept it, not all kids are little bundles of happiness. Wait till you see how these juvenile criminals react on hearing their well-deserved punishments. So without any further ado, let's dive right into the top 3 most dangerous kids' reactions to serving life in prison, which is enough to leave you speechless. Watch this video till the end to catch the top 3 reactions recorded in the courtroom of kids being pushed into a life imprisonment punishment. 1. Roxana Sikorsky. Roxana Sikorsky is one of the few juvenile criminals on this list who regretted her action more than anyone else. This 15-year-old teensy girl might look innocent, crying like a baby on the outside. But the truth is enough to baffle you. Roxana pleaded guilty under the charges of plotting to take away the lives of her entire family. This 2014 incident made everyone question if teenagers are actually that unpredictable or are highly neglected. Turns out, Roxana is a prime example of what can happen if misguided. The girl was adopted by the Sikorsky family from a Polish orphanage at a very young age. If we believe Roxana's statements, then she admitted being ill-treated while at the orphanage. She wasn't the only one whom the Sikorskys warmly accepted into their family. The girl came along with her little brother and a sister from the same shelter. If everything was going smooth, how did things escalate? In July 2014, Roxana met the guy who was going to be her end. Well, Roxana had just turned 15, while the guy, Michael Rivera, was already in his 20s. Roxana and Michael became closer than ever, sharing a trauma bond. The attacker suffered from loneliness and nightmares, and Michael was in constant assistance of her. The two would often meet in person at local libraries, and even got intimate. While love was in the air, this did not please Roxana's adoptive parents at all. They started frowning upon her newfound relationship, and were worried that Michael was actually manipulating Roxana. During this time, Roxana experienced a lot of behavioral changes too. The girl who was once outgoing, friendly, and intelligent started having manic episodes and anxiety kicks. Soon the relationship became a forbidden one, and the couple had to sneak out to see each other. Her concerned parents even put statutory charges against Roxana's much older boyfriend, which infuriated her even more. It was September 2014 when Roxana and her boyfriend considered a very horrible scheme. The couple wanted to set themselves free from the statutory charges. The solution? Definitely not killing each one of their family members. On October 17, 2014, Roxana sneaked into her little brother's bedroom and slashed his throat repeatedly until he was almost unalive. The next move was to end her little sister, but things did not go the bratty teen's way. Her parents had already woken up from all the screams. A frightened Roxana flew out of the house and ran away. She was prosecuted as an adult and faced well-deserved charges. When the judge announced the damnation for her actions, Roxana broke down into tears and constantly apologized to her family. The remorse could be clearly seen on her face. The 19-year-old broke down as she pleaded guilty under the charges of attempted murder of her own adoptive family. Unfortunately, the tears were not enough from stopping the court to do what had to be done. 2. Antonio Barbo. Antonio Barbo shocked the entire city of Sheboygan when he was arrested and prosecuted under the charges of killing his own great-grandmother. The 78-year-old woman was stabbed to death by Antonio Barbo and his friend Nathan Pape. This incident took place back in 2012, still marks itself as one of the most brutal murders of the town ever. You see, the two 13-year-olds plotted the entire thing beforehand and went on to shop for their respective axes and shovels too. Antonio's great-grandmother, who lived alone, let both the boys in all by herself. Little did she know about their true intentions. Barbara Olson, the 78-year-old victim, was hacked and bludgeoned to death by her own grandson with the help of a hatchet and hammer. It was the 17th of September, 2012, when this fateful event was enacted. Nathan's mother drove the two boys down to Antonio's granny's house. The guys approached the house, affixed to a plan. They snuck in through the garage but were soon caught by the lady. Unfortunately, the boys could only steal a decent $155 from Barbara, along with certain pieces of jewelry. You must be wondering what they did with money, right? Well, they bought marijuana and ordered pizza. This event was enough to shake the whole nation. While reading his apology letter in front of the judge, Antonio broke down into tears and pleaded not guilty. His attorney insisted that he was mentally unstable, which was denied by the court. The guys would be eligible for parole only after serving 35 good years in prison. He was also convicted of first-degree intentional homicide. Even the judge expressed that it was one of the most shameful trials that the entire state of Wisconsin had ever seen. Antonio constantly broke down into tears while reading out loud his confession paper, so his attorney had to complete it. Even if Antonio was sorry for his actions, it was probably a little too late, wasn't it? Some of the reactions recorded in the courtroom perfectly represent how remorseful the situations can sometimes get. These kids have performed the unthinkable, which is enough to make the bravest one of us shiver. But they sure could not hide their emotions in front of the judge. These kids wouldn't have even realized the price they were going to pay before committing such heinous crimes. While a few of them cried an ocean out of their eyes, the upcoming kid infuriated the judge instead. 3. T.J. Lane. If T.J. Lane wouldn't have been jailed for his heinous crime, he would surely be arrested for his scum attitude. This 17-year-old juvenile studying at Chardon High School allegedly murdered 3 of his classmates and left 3 others injured. Well, you are about allowed to take a deep sigh of breath as his reaction in the courtroom is set to infuriate you even more. The witness of the crime stated that T.J. Lane had some personal feud with one of the victims he unalived. Lane, who had been given feedback of being an arrogant scumbag, fully committed his crime inside the courtroom. The victim and Lane shared the same bus to school, which is where the murder rampage began. Thanks to his personal feud with one of the victims, Lane blindly shot everyone surrounding his target using a .22 MBW shotgun. Among the 3 injured students, 2 survived fatal injuries while the third sustained a permanent paralysis. During this incident in 2012, Lane was about 17 years old. The court had a difficult time deciding whether to prosecute him as a juvenile or punish him as an adult. Lane's behavior in the courtroom was not helpful at all. The young blood initially wore a blue shirt over a white t-shirt, which he took off in a crowded courtroom, breaching the decorum. The event which followed it was even more baffling. The note written on his white t-shirt spelled "Killer," enough to leave the courtroom attendees speechless. Well, guess what? Lane didn't stop there. He requested the camera to be pointed towards him and said awfully hurtful things to the victim's family. The guy even went as far as showing the finger to the unalive victims. This has got to be one of the most atrocious reactions to a triple life imprisonment ever, hasn't it? To make matters worse, Lane tried to escape from the prison a year later in 2014. Now what? The authorities had to lock him up in a maximum security cell instead. What a nightmare.